pictures of beaches. They're beautiful. Where can I find them? Wait, Philippines? Philippines? Where's that?
Philippines is an archipelagic country in Southeast Asia known for having its biodiversity as its main tourist attraction. Its beaches, heritage towns, mountains, rainforests, islands, and diving spots are among the country's most popular tourist destinations.
What's up, world? My name is Brittany, and today I'm gonna be taking you to the Pearl of the Orient, the Philippines.
The Philippines consists of about 7,641 islands that are broadly categorized under three main geographical divisions from north to south: the Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The country's rich historical and cultural heritage, including its festivals and indigenous traditions, are one of its attractions.
For you to know more about us and our early ancestors, let me take you to our National Museum where we restore and safeguard the important cultural properties of our country. But let me fix myself first. Wow! Much better! Let's go! I proudly present to you our National Museum! So, let's get inside and find more interesting facts about our social, cultural, and biological evolution. Oh, we have here our first evidence from the past. These are the remains of a rhinoceros philippinensis found in Kalinga, Rizal.
We believe that this is an evidence of early hominins in a country 709,000 years ago. These butchered remains of an animal is believed to be hunted by them. One specific early hominid species is discovered in Callao Cave. They are the Homo luzonensis. The remains reveal a tiny variety of human with a number of startlingly primitive traits that lived as recently as 50,000 to 67,000 years ago.
According to a Filipino anthropologist, F. Landa Hocano, these Homo luzonensis used stones and ceramic manufactures as their tools.
30 years ago, the Negritos who became the ancestors of today's Filipinos lived in the archipelago. But sadly, we don't have enough evidences to indicate details of ancient Filipino life such as their crops, culture, and architecture.
But don't be sad, because on May 28, 1962, this doctor right here, named Dr. Robert B. Fox, who is an American anthropologist, have found fossilized fragments of a skull and a jawbone of 3 individuals in the Tabon Cave of South Palawan.
He and his team have found stone flake tools and charcoal in the cave. They then hypothesized that during this era, the early ancestors of the Filipinos that are called Tabon men were able to discover fire and learn how to cook. Many years after, the first Austronesians from Taiwan reached the Philippines and quickly assimilated with the existing Negritos, resulting in the modern Filipino ethnic groups, which display various ratios of genetic admixture between the two groups.
And by 10,000 BC, the inhabitants of the archipelago had developed into 4 social groups. These are the hunter-gatherer tribes, the warrior societies, the highlands plutocracies, and the port principalities. They have then developed polities around 10th to 16th century, wherein it was characterized into 3 social structure: a nobility class, a class of freemen, and a class of dependent later bondsmen. Among the members of the nobility class were leaders who held the political office of a dato, who is responsible for leading autonomous social groups which are called barangays or duluhan. Along this era, specifically on March 16, 1521, a Portuguese explorer named Ferdinand Magellan arrived and claimed the islands for Spain.
At this moment, the natives were recorded as having a high literacy rate, knowing how to read and write in their traditional scripts.
With the goal of converting the natives into Christians, Magellan got into a fight with Lapu-Lapu, which had resulted to a Spanish defeat. After 44 years, the Spaniards came back and colonized the islands.
Under Spanish rule, Catholic missionaries converted most of the lowland inhabitants who adhered to indigenous religions into colonial Christianity, which is often done through brutal means such as genocide.
Natives were enrolled in catechism schools to convert them further into Christianity, while higher schools of Spanish barred any native from enrolling. Slavery was utilized by colonizers. They had even confiscated indigenous lands, farmlands, food resources, and indigenous sacred shrines. Executions of Filipino natives were done through beheading or burning. Filipinos also experienced being maltreated in a way of sexual slavery by Japanese people during the Second World War.
But despite of the chaotic past, the Filipinos were able to stand up and start again.
Now, the Filipinos live in their independent country with rich biodiversity and beautiful people.
Through the influence of many countries, we are able to learn how to live like they do, make societies like they do, and value our cultures like they do.
Our lives have changed a lot. Most of us now are Christians. Most of us wear the modern American styles and even talk like one. But that doesn't change the person we really are. Deep inside our hearts is where our patriotism lives. And that is for our perlas ng silanganan, the Philippines.